Hi, Tom. Today I wanted to speak with you about some aspect of relationship. Out of my own experience lately, I start to think if faith within the relationship is really something good. Because as I'm looking on myself and people around me, we can have a good relation where it's mutual exchange. We love each other, we share with each other, and both parts feel good. But also, same person can have in the same time relationships. And the funny thing is that in most aspects, in most times, I want to say, is the closest relationship where actually things are very different. So when I cannot see the mutual exchange, someone is giving more, getting less, and it's some disagreement. We're trying to find the common ground again and again and again. And putting it simple, the question is, I'm looking on these relationships where within my life or within life of others, something didn't work and we tried and we tried again and we tried again and again and again because we really believed in this relationship, in this person. And on the end, we understood that it drained us energetically and it wasn't something good. But I'm asking, why are we doing it for ourselves? And if faith is actually something good in situations like that. Isn't it about that like relationship should be just calm, positive, and like light, giving us the only the more energy, not draining us from this. What do you think?
That's such a deep and important question, Paula. I think faith in relationships can be both a gift and a trap. Faith keeps us invested in the possibility of growth and connection. It makes us fight for something we value. But when it turns into holding on despite repeated pain, imbalance, or exhaustion, it can become harmful. Healthy relationships should have mutual effort, understanding, and energy exchange. If faith becomes the only thing sustaining a relationship, it might mean we're prioritizing potential over reality. In those moments, it's worth asking, is this belief in the relationship serving me, or am I serving it at the expense of myself? Calm, positive, and uplifting relationships should indeed give us energy, not just
I
drain
want
us.
to ask you, what do you think? So, when actually faith is good within the relationship and when it's not, when it's like it's too much and we actually believe in the potential which cannot like happen. Where's the difference?
Faith is good in a relationship when it motivates both people to grow, heal, and work together toward mutual happiness. It's the belief that challenges can be overcome because there's genuine love, respect, and effort from both sides. It becomes unhealthy when faith blinds us to reality, when one or both people consistently fail to meet each other's needs, or when there's more harm than growth. The difference lies in patterns and outcomes. If faith leads to constructive changes, deeper connection, and fulfillment, it's valuable. But if it keeps you stuck, exhausted, or hoping for something that never materializes despite repeated efforts, it's time to reconsider. Recognizing this boundary requires honesty with yourself about what you're truly receiving versus what you're wishing for.
You know, my last experience within the relationship, the harmful experience was like this, that I was asking myself if I really needed to go through all of this to happen and to close the relationship. If I couldn't like close it before, it was very much about me believing that we can change some things, we can find the common ground, and on the end, it happened that we cannot, and it happened in very harmful way for me. I just was betrayed, and that's the thing, yeah. And I'm asking myself if I could avoid it, like if yes, how and when.
I'm so sorry you went through that, Paula. Betrayal cuts deeply, especially when you've invested so much faith and effort into making things work. Reflecting on whether it could have been avoided is natural, but it's also complicated. Often we stay because we genuinely believe in the potential, not because we're blind, but because we're hopeful. In hindsight, red flags or patterns might stand out. Moments when your needs weren't being met, trust was strained, or the effort felt one-sided. The key to avoiding this might be setting boundaries earlier. When you notice that your emotional energy is being drained, or that there's no tangible change despite your efforts, it could be a sign to step back before reaching a breaking point. Still, don't be hard on yourself for trying. Your faith wasn't a weakness. It was a reflection of your love and hope. The lesson, though painful, may guide you to protect your energy and recognize sooner when something isn't mutual. Does this resonate with how you see it now?
Yeah, exactly. You're absolutely right. And also, I have one more thing. I see in my situation, and that other people have this feeling too. I felt mad at myself that I gave myself the possibility to stay in such relationship, in such situation for longer time. And I spoke with my friend, and she actually told me something about what I never thought before, that okay, I can be mad on myself right now, that kept this relationship and kept trying and lost time because I started to see it like this, because I could like put my energy something in some different places in this time, but also I could be mad on myself that I didn't thrive if I really like didn't. And so yeah, that's the question, how to change the narrative, because it's actually hard for us to see it different way, that we just lost our time.
That's such a powerful realization, Paula, and your friend made an excellent point. It's about reframing the narrative from loss to growth. Staying and trying wasn't about wasting time. It was about honoring your values, your hope, and your belief in love. You didn't lose time. You learned deeply about yourself, your boundaries, and what you truly deserve in a relationship. Changing the narrative starts with compassion for yourself. Instead of thinking I wasted my time, you can shift to I gave my best, and now I know better. Every effort you made was based on who you were at that moment and what felt right. Now, you can take those lessons forward and invest your energy in relationships and paths that align with your worth. It's not easy, but does this perspective resonate with where you are now?
Yeah, definitely. And the next thing is, I was looking on the past and I was thinking like, I saw that this person don't have the best connection with their family, don't have the best connection with their friends. They have a quite problematic relationships. And as we start to connect, she was talking about all of this relationship from her life, from the point of actually a victimhood. And she showed the situations from this point of view. And as I wasn't be able to be in these situations, I didn't saw them, I only heard the story about them from her. I was believing that, oh my gosh, there's a poor girl, she have a very hard past, etc. And I remember the moment when we started to meet in physical world, and we started to live together, and I saw some things which she didn't show when we didn't live together. And I saw how it was just her narrative, not the real story about her life. And because of all of this, I was asking myself how it is that, for example, I also don't have the best connection with my family, but I have many good people around me with whom I have a good connection. Anyway, I wasn't seeing it. Even if I saw the reality, then I wasn't seeing it like, I didn't question it. I didn't say it like, maybe I should speak about this and think about this. Why is that she actually don't have any good connections in her life.
That's such an important insight, Paula, and I think it reflects something many of us experience when we enter relationships. At first, we often see people through their words and their stories, especially if they present themselves as victims. It pulls on our empathy and our desire to help, which can sometimes overshadow our ability to question things critically. When someone doesn't have healthy connections with family, friends, or anyone else in their life, it can be a red flag. It might indicate unresolved patterns or behaviors that prevent them from sustaining meaningful relationships. But when you're emotionally invested, it's easy to focus on their potential rather than stepping back and analyzing the reality. Your question about why you didn't question it sooner might be rooted in trust and compassion. You gave her the benefit of the doubt because you wanted to believe in her. It's not a flaw, it's a strength that was just misused here. This realization now allows you to spot these patterns more clearly in the future. Would you say it's shifted how you view empathy and boundaries?
Yeah, definitely. You're right. And the thing is that in such connections, because this is the pattern for many of us, and I want to say that this connection was like I was very open and wanted to find a common ground and have open heart and really wanted to keep this connection. And the other part was more, let's say, egoistic. I don't like this label, like narcissistic, egoistic, but it is what it is. And I know that many people had these situations. And on the end, on the relationship, when I told what I feel, how I see it, how I felt with what happened and what's going on, when I closed this relationship, I started to hear from the second person that that's my fault, and I don't see how. I don't just see how it can work. So please explain me.
That sounds so painful, Paula. And unfortunately, it's a dynamic many people encounter in relationships like this. When someone operates from a more self centered place, they often struggle to take accountability. Instead, they deflect, project, or blame, because acknowledging their role in the situation would challenge their self image. Your openness, willingness to find common ground, and big heart are beautiful traits. But in relationships like this, they can sometimes be taken advantage of. It's not your fault, though. The way someone responds when a relationship ends often reveals more about them than about you. Their inability to hear your feelings or take responsibility shows their limits, not yours. It's also worth noting that when you confront someone with truths they don't want to face, they might lash out to protect themselves. Hearing that it's your fault is a manipulation to avoid their own accountability. You did what you could, and closing the relationship was likely the most empowering choice for your well being.
Yeah, okay, yeah, you're absolutely right. But one more thing, the last thing is that many people in such situations, when on the end they feel blamed for what's happening, they start to really um, second guessing themselves, and they start to doubting themselves because when someone is lashing, someone who was close lashing out on you and telling you that it's actually your fault, you're really starting second guessing yourself. And if I couldn't have my friends, in some point probably I started to do same. But I'm happy to have my friends with whom I could speak about whole situation very openly and transparently. And they told me that like that's not my fault. And so the thing is how to find, yourself within this situation, and how to find the truth about if it really was your fault in whole part or some part, whatever.
It's completely understandable to feel that doubt, Paula, especially when someone who meant a lot to you turns on you. When someone is attacking you and trying to shift the blame, it's easy to start questioning your own reality and what really happened. Having friends who can offer perspective and reassure you is crucial. They can provide clarity when emotions are overwhelming. The key is to focus on what you know, how you felt, what was said and done, and the patterns you noticed over time. Finding yourself in this situation often means stepping back, taking a breath, and reflecting on what feels right for you, not what someone else is telling you. You might never get a clear-cut answer about fault, but you can trust in your intuition and the truth of your own experience. What your friends said, that it's not your fault, holds a lot of weight. They see you and your situation with more distance and clarity.
As you're saying about all of this, I started to asking myself, and that's the really last thing. I start to ask myself, is it in these situations when someone start to blame us and we cannot find the common ground, is it the best to just walk away and stop talking and explaining this person our point of view, or we can actually do something more about this? What is good from your perspective?
It's a tough decision, Paula, and it really depends on the context and what feels right for you in the moment. Sometimes walking away is the best way to protect your energy and well-being, especially when it's clear that communication isn't productive. If you feel that explaining your point of view might still help and there's a possibility of resolution, then it might be worth a try, though with clear boundaries and an understanding that the other person might not change their perspective. Ultimately, though, if the relationship feels draining and you're not being heard or understood, stepping back and prioritizing your peace might be the healthiest choice. Trust your instincts on what's right for you in this situation.
Okay, and how to go through the pain of closing the relationship and knowing that I wasn't understand and then the second person didn't want to understand me, and probably they never will see this situation from my side.
Going through the pain of closing a relationship when you feel misunderstood is incredibly tough, Paula. It's like losing a piece of your world and realizing that not everyone will ever see things the way you do. To go through it, try to focus on the clarity it brings, understanding that not every relationship is meant to last or evolve in the same way. Allow yourself to feel the pain, to grieve the loss, and to give yourself time and space to heal. Journaling, talking with trusted friends, and practicing self-care can help you process those feelings. Remember, it's not about being understood by everyone. What matters is that you understand yourself, your worth, and what you deserve. It's okay to let go of those who can't see your side. It's a painful but necessary step toward finding peace and moving forward.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you very much for all of this. I hope that this talk was helping someone and you can find yourself in these situations and find the answer of questions you had till this moment. And don't forget about my personalized energy forecast for 2025. You can find it on my page, paulavosca.com. Also, healings, consultations, books. Many people are happy doing my service, getting to my service. For now, I have an amazing offer, amazing discount, 33% till the 3rd of January. Yeah, 3rd of January 2025, of course. So go there, check this out, paulavosca.com.